So hi, it's Hello from Pure Yoga, Helen Rowe, and we're going to be doing a mindful movement of rinse and detox of the body. So there's going to be a lot of twisting, but the options for twisting in mindful movement are more about bringing the hand to knee rather than the elbow to knee. So it's just a little softer, but you still get that twist. If you have a block, grab a block. If you don't have a block, then grab something that's quite stable that you can place your hand onto, either a can of beans or something like a big thick textbook, and just place that at the front of your mat. So we're going to start in standing, and we're going to start at the front of the mat, bringing our feet hip width apart, feeling all 4 points of the feet, lifting the 10 toes, bringing them down from the little toe through to the big toe, feeling the weight in the ball of the foot, the weight in the heel of the foot, so you've got that full grounding into the floor. Take a close of the eyes, take a turn of the palms forward, relax the shoulders down towards the hips, have a little micro bend in the knee, a tuck under of the tailbone and a lift of the lower belly, a lift through the lower rib cage, an expansion through the chest, and a slight tuck of the chin. Growing up tall through the crown of the head, grounding down through the feet. So we have that sensation of lightness and lift, and grounding and stability. Take a breath in through the nose, and out through the mouth. So we're going to do 5 lion's breath, where you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth with the tongue sticking out. Nice raspy breath out. Open the eyes, take a breath in, take a breath out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more, breathe in, breathe out. Come back to your breathing pattern, maybe in and out through the nose if you can, keeping those shoulders relaxed. Your next breath in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. On your breath out, bend into the knees, sink the hips nice and low, finding a chair position here. Bring your right hand to your left knee, your left hand to the lower back, and just twist and turn with the torso to face to the left. Sink the hips a little lower, keep both knees in line with each other, toes in line at the front of the mat, shoulders turning to the left, pelvis staying square to that short edge of the mat. Come back to centre, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Keep that tailbone tucked under, lower belly lifted. And then bring that left hand to the right knee, the right hand onto the lower back. Turn, twist to the right, sink into those hips. Find a little depth. Weight into the heels, feather-like touch through the toes. Come back to centre, reach the arms up. Then bring the hands to the chest, straighten through the legs. Bring the hands to the hips. Bring your weight into your left foot. Bring your weight up onto that left foot as you raise the right knee up to hip height. Bring your left hand onto the right knee. Bring your right hand to the lower back. Turn and twist towards the right side of the room. Keeping that knee at hip height. Feeling the weight in the whole of the sole of that left foot. Keep lifting the lower belly up and tucking the tailbone down. Feeling that twist through the waist. Hold it in that space just for a breath. Then bring the shoulders back around. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. Hands onto the hips. Weight comes into the right foot as you lift the left knee up to hip height. Find a focal point in front of you. Then bring that right hand onto your left knee, your left hand to the lower back. Turn and twist the torso to that left side, keeping that left knee hip height, and in front of that left hip, pelvis still square to the front of the mat. And feel that rotation coming from the waist, shoulders just coming along for the journey. Bring yourself back to centre. Bring hands to the hips. Bring your left foot to meet the right. Take a paddle of the feet. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. As you breathe out, bend into the knees. Fold down through those hips. Put your weight into your right foot. Step your left foot back. And find that low lunge space. Shoulders relaxed, arms lengthen. Then bring those shoulders over the hips. Bring the hands then across the body. Both hands on opposite shoulders. Bend into that right knee as much as you can. Sink the hips as low as you can. Turn the shoulders to the right. Hips stay square to the front. Come back to centre. Turn to the left. Feel like that right rib is squeezing towards that left hip. Back to the centre. Turn to the right. Back to centre. And turn to the left. Try not to arch that lower back too much. Come back to centre. Reach out both arms up. Then send the arms forward. Bring yourself back to a chair position. Bring the hands to the hips, straighten up through those legs. Take a roll of the shoulders. Relax them down towards the hips. Reach back up with the arms. Sink the hips low, find that chair position. Tuck the tailbone down, lift the lower belly up. Bring your weight into your left foot this time and step your right foot back. Hold it in that aeroplane arm space. And then bring those shoulders back over the hips. Bring the hands across the chest. Opposite arm folded over the opposite, over compared to the last. Turn and twist to the left. Use those oblique muscles to make the twist. Come back to centre and turn to the right. Left rib towards the right hip. Back to centre, turn to the left. Back to centre and turn to the right. Come back to centre, bring the hands up in front of you. Lean forward 45 degrees with the torso. Step your right foot back to meet the left. Find chair position. Bring the hands to the hips, straighten up through the body. Bring the hands to the chest, palms together. Put your weight into your left foot, raise your right knee up to hip height. Then bring your left hand onto the right knee, right hand behind, turn, twist to the right side of the room. Keep the square pelvis to the short edge of the mat. Use those oblique muscles to squeeze to make that rotation come from the waist. Come back to centre, both hands on the hips, bring the right foot to the floor. Bring the hands to the chest, weight into the right foot, raise up with your left knee, hip height. Then bring your right hand to the left knee, your left hand behind. Turn, twist, face to the left. Left knee level with the hip, pelvis neutral to the front edge. Squeeze those oblique muscles, maybe use that right hand but resist with that left knee to help with the twist. Come back to a centre space. Hands to the hips, left foot to the floor. Reach up with the arms, sink into the hips, find that chair. Bring your weight into your right foot as you step your left foot back. Right knee stays bent. Then bring your left hand to the right knee, right hand behind. Turn and twist around to your right side. Sink those hips maybe a little lower. Hold it in this space for a couple of breaths. Keep pushing that left heel back towards the back of the mat and pushing strong into that right foot. Come back to centre, reach the arms up, lean forward with the torso, step forward with the left foot to meet the right. Find chair position in this space. Then straighten up through the body, bring the hands to the chest. release the hands down by the sides of the body. Next breath in, raise the hands, bend the knees, sink the hips. Put your weight into your left foot as you step your right foot back. Sink the hips low. Bring your right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind. Turn, twist the torso to the left. Feeling that stretch down the right side of the body. The contraction of those oblique muscles to turn and twist. Push that right heel back to straighten that right leg. Push strong into the sole of that left foot. Come back to centre. Reach the arms forward. Step your right foot back to meet the left. Sink the hips. Bring the hands to the chest. Raise up. Standing straight, roll the shoulders back. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, find that chair position. Sink the hips. Tuck the tailbone down, lift the lower belly up. Weight comes into your left foot as you step your right foot back. Bring the hands onto the thighs. Take a hold of the block. Bring your block to the inside of that left foot. Right hand comes onto the block. Left hand comes to the shoulder. Turn, twist. Try not to drop in that right hip. Then reach that left hand up to the ceiling. Use the support of the right hand onto that block to turn and twist from the waist. Maybe gazing up towards that left hand, pushing down with the right hand. Hold it in this space for one more breath, pushing the right heel back. Bring that left hand down, bring it back onto the thigh. Then reach both hands up. Step forward with your right foot, sink into the hips. Straighten up through the legs, bring the hands to the chest. Raise the hands up to the ceiling. Sink into the hips. Find that chair. Tuck the tailbone under. Lift the lower belly up. Then put your weight into your right foot as you step your left foot back. Bring the hands to the thighs. Take a hold of the block. Bring it to the inside of the right foot. Left hand comes on top of the block as you then reach up with the right hand. Turning and twisting from the waist, keeping the hips square. Trying to stack that right shoulder as much as you can on top of the left. Maybe gazing up towards that right thumb. Holding it in this space, one more breath. Then bring both hands back to the knee. Remove the block to the side. Reach up with the arms. Step your left foot back to meet the right and sink into those hips. Straighten up through the body. Bring the hands to the chest. Breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. On your breath out, bend into the knees and sink into the hips. Bring your left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the lower back. Turn, twist through the waist. Knees nice and level, toes in line with each other. Squeeze through that centre waist. Come back to the centre. Reach both arms up. Then sink into those hips a little more. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Turn, rotate to the left. Both knees nice and level, toes in line. Sink the hips a little lower, lift the lower belly up. One more breath here. Then reach both arms up. Straighten through the legs. Bring the hands to the chest. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. On your breath out, fold from the hips. Bring the hands down to the floor. Breath in, half lift. Place the hands on the shins. Breath out, release the hands down to the floor, bend the knees, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Drop down with the knees, untuck with the toes. Turn the creases of the elbows and release slowly to the floor. Breath in, lift up through the chest. Breath out, release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back to those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, and lift up the hips. Squeezing those heels back. Take a paddle through the feet. A little nod and shake of the head. Then coming down onto the knees. Turning your right foot off the mat, bringing your weight onto your right side. Left hand lifts up to the ceiling. On your out breath, thread the left hand in between the right arm, right knee. Breath in and lift. Breath out, squeeze and twist. Breath in, lift. 2 more times. Breath out, squeeze. Breath in, lift. 1 more time. Breath out and squeeze. Breath in and lift. Bring both hands down to the floor. Step both feet back to a plank. Lift up the hips and find down dog. Paddling the feet, nod and shaking of the head. Bring those heels then to stillness. Come forward to plank. Drop down with the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, release slowly to the floor. Push into those hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, bring those chests back towards those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Coming down onto both knees, turning your left foot just off the mat. Bring your weight onto your left side, stepping your right foot back, reaching the right hand to the ceiling. On your out breath, thread the right hand in between the left and twist. In breath, raise that right hand back to the ceiling. Out breath and twist. In breath and lift. 2 more. Out breath, twist. In breath, lift. Last one. Out breath, twist. In breath, lift. Bring your right hand back to the floor. Step both feet back to a plank. Lift up the hips and squeeze the heels back. Have a little paddle through the feet and a nod and shake of the head. Bring the heels to stillness. Come forward to plank, inhale. Drop down with the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows. Slowly release to the floor. Push into the hands, lift up the chest, take that back bend. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. Start to walk the feet towards the front of the mat. Bringing your block just underneath and in front of the feet, underneath the forehead. Bring your left hand onto the block. Reach up with your right hand, twist and turn to the right. Bring your right hand back to the block. Reach up with your left hand and twist to the left. Left hand to the block. Reach up with your right hand, twist to the right. Right hand to the block. Reach up with your left hand, twist to the left. Bring those both hands down to the block. Allow the body to fold with straight legs, using the block as somewhere to place the hands. Next breath in, slowly curl up through that spine, removing the block out the way before. Bringing those shoulders back up and over the hips and roll the shoulders back. Bring your hands onto your hips, your weight into your left foot as you raise the right knee. Bring your left hand onto the right knee, right hand to the lower back, turn and twist to the right. Square hips to the front. Breathing deeply in and completely out. Turn the shoulders back. Release that right foot to the back of the mat. Reach up with the arms. Then cross the hands over the chest. Turn, twist to the left. Back to centre and twist to the right. Left knee bent, right leg straight. Back to the centre, twist to the left. And twist to the right. Come back to centre. Release the hands down either side of that left foot. Step the left foot back. Lift the hips back to down dog. Come forward to a plank. Drop down with the knees. Untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows. Release down to the floor. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back to those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips. Squeeze the heels back. Start to walk the feet back to the front of the mat. Placing the block underneath the face and in front of the toes. Left hand comes onto the block. Reach up with the right hand, twist to the right. Right hand comes to the block. Reach up with the left hand, twist to the left. Hands back to the block. One more both sides. Reach up, twist, both legs straight if you can. Right hand to the block. Reach up with the left. And back to the floor. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Release the block to the side. Bend into the knees, slowly curl up through that spine. One vertebra at a time. When you arrive in standing, roll the shoulders back. Bring your hands to your hips. Put your weight into your left foot. Raise that right knee. Bring your left knee. Bring your right hand to the left knee, left hand behind. Turn and twist to the left. Pelvis square to the front edge, shoulders turning to the left edge. Hold it in this space for another breath. Then turn the shoulders back. Release the hands to the hips. Slowly step that left foot back to the back of the mat. Reach up with the arms. Then cross the arms over the chest. Turn, twist to the right, left rib towards the right rib. Back to the centre, turn, twist to the left. Come back to the centre, one more both sides, twist to the right. Back to centre, twist to the left. Back to centre, release both hands down. Step your right foot back. Lift the hips, find down dog. Forward to plank. Drop down with the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, slowly release to the floor. Push into the hands and lift up with the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips. Squeeze those heels back. Walk the hands towards the back of the mat. Bend in the knees as much as you need to bring those hands just in front of the toes. Feet hip width apart. Bend into the knees, keep the chest on the thighs. Lift up with the arms to the ears, then the chest away from the thighs. Finding that chair. Left hand onto the right knee, right hand behind, turn, twist to the right. Sink the hips low, feather light touch through the toes. Come back to centre, raise the arms by the ears. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind, and twist to the left. Try not to let the right knee pop forward, keep the hips nice and low, use the muscles in those thighs. Come back to centre, raise the arms, Straighten up through the torso. Bring the hands to the chest. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bend the knees as much as you need to bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, release the hands, walk the hands back to a plank position. Lower the hips in line with the shoulders. Drop down with the knees. Untuck the toes. Release the chest to the floor. Push into the hands, lift up with the chest. Release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back to those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips. Squeeze the heels back. Coming down onto the knees. Bring your block just to the front of the mat, slightly to the right. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips back to down dog. Paddle the feet, nod and shake of those heads. Then bring those heels to stillness. Your next breath in, right leg lifts. Bring the knee to the chest. Drop down with the left knee and step your right foot through. Place the right hand onto the block. Lift up the back knee. Step forward onto the right leg. Bring that block a little further forward. The right hand stays on the block. Left hand comes to the shoulder and turn the shoulders to the left. The left toes pointing to the left. Then when you found that balance, maybe reach up with that left hand to find that half moon pose. Twisting to that left side. Pushing the hips to the left, the shoulders to the right. One more breath here in half moon. And then bend into that right knee. Bring both hands to either side of that right foot. Step back into plank. Lift up the hips. Squeeze the heels back. Nod. Shake of the head. Come forward to a plank. Drop down with the knees. Untuck the toes. Release the chest to the floor. Breath in, lift the chest. Breath out, release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back towards those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips. Squeeze those heels back. Your next breath in, your left leg lifts. Bring that knee of the left to the chest. Drop the right knee to the floor. Step your left foot through. Left hand this time comes onto the block. Lift up the back knee. Step forward onto that left foot. Right foot comes to hip height. Push into the block with the left hand. Turn the shoulders to the right. Reach them maybe up with that right hand. Right toes pointing out to that right side. Nice long line through the torso. The support through that left hand as we find half moon. Using all those muscles in those sides of the waist. Around that core strength. Then bend into that left knee. Bring the right hand down, left hand down. Step it back into a plank position. Lift up the hips. Squeeze the heels back. Come forward to a plank. Drop down with the knees. Untuck the toes. Release that chest to the floor. Push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back towards those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Weight comes into your left foot as you raise the right leg. Bring the right knee to the chest. Drop the left knee to the floor. Bring your right foot in between the hands. Untuck the back toes. Left hand stays down. Right hand lifts up to the ceiling. Then lift those shoulders over the hips, keeping the twist through the waist, facing that right side. Maybe you want to bring the right hand to the lower back, just to help move that torso around to the right side. Or keep that right arm straight, finding the full expression with the arms. Windmill the hands down either side of that right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee. Step your right foot back to meet the left. Lift the hips, squeeze those heels back. Weight comes into your right foot as your left leg lifts. Bring that left knee into the chest. Come down onto the right knee. Bring your left foot through. Untuck the back toes, right hand stays down, and the left hand lifts. Twist, rotate, digestive system being worked really hard. Push into the feet as you raise the shoulders. Either bring that left hand to the lower back or keep it out straight. Squeeze the center body. All those internal organs getting a massage. Rinsing and detoxing and digestion is being helped to move all those bad toxins through the body. Then windmill the hands down, either side of that left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, left foot back to meet the right. Lift the hips back to down dog. Have a little paddle through those feet. Nod and shake of the heads. Come forward to plank and let the right hip drop towards the floor. Come back to centre plank and lift the hips back, down dog. Come back forward to plank. Turn and twist the hips, bring the left hip towards the floor. Come back to full plank. Lift the hips back to down dog. Start to walk the feet towards the front of the mat, keeping the hips high, bringing the feet underneath the hips. Let a bend come into the knees, take a hold of the elbows. Let the arms be heavy, traction those shoulders. Then release the arms, slowly curl up through that spine, one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself all the way up to standing, and when you arrive, roll the shoulders back. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, bend into the knees and find chair. Lift the lower belly up, tuck the tailbone down. Left hand to the right knee, right hand to the lower back. Turn, twist through the torso. Come back to centre, both arms lift. Right hand to the left knee, left hand to the lower back, and twist to the left. Come back to the centre and both arms lift. Put your weight into your left foot, step your right foot back. Bring the hands across the chest to opposite shoulders. Turn the torso to the left. Come back through centre. Turn the torso to the right. Come back to centre. Release the right hand to the floor. Lift the left hand up to the ceiling. Bring that left hand back onto the thigh. Right hand to meet. Step back forward to the front of the mat. Sink the hips, raise the arms, chair. Bring yourself all the way back up to standing. Bring the hands to the chest. Breath in, raise those hands. Breath out, sink into those hips. Bring your right hand to the left knee, the left hand to the lower back. Sink the hips low. Come back to centre. Right hand to the left knee. Right hand to the lower back. Come back to centre. Step your left foot back. Lift the shoulders over the hips, hands across the chest. Turn, twist to the right. Back to centre and twist to the left. Come back to centre. Release the left hand to the floor. Reach up with the right hand. Then bring that right hand to the thigh. Left hand to meet. Step forward with the left foot. Raise the arms, chair. Bring the hands to the chest. Straighten through the legs. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Back down towards the hips. Close the eyes for a moment. Relax the shoulders. Easy breath in. Long breath out. Next breath in, bring the hands up to the ceiling. Hips stay forward, left hand forward, right hand back. Hands back to the ceiling. Right hand forward, left hand back. Hands back to the ceiling. One more both sides, left hand forward, right hand back. Hands back to the ceiling, one to the other side. Hands back to the ceiling. Bring the hands to the chest. Step your left foot back. Turn towards that long edge of the mat. Bring the hands to the hips, toes in front of the heels. On your out breath, start to fold over those legs. Just do a half fold. If you need to use a block in the middle, use a block. Bring both hands down to the floor. Bring your left hand into the centre, right hand to the shoulder, turn, twist to the right, reach the right hand up. Hold it in this space, push into both feet. Bring your right hand to where the left hand is. Reach the left hand to the shoulder and then reach the left hand to the ceiling. Twist and turn to the left. Bring that left hand back down to meet the right. Allow that body to fold over those legs. Let go of the head. Let go of the neck. Then taking a bend into both knees, slowly curl up through that spine. One vertebra at a time. Bring yourself all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back. Turn your right toes back to the front edge of the mat. Bend into that right knee. Then scoop that left arm down and around. Come onto the toes of the back foot as you raise the arms to the ceiling. Then bring your left hand forward, your right hand back. Rotate towards the right side of the mat. Then scoop the right arm down, around, bring them up to the ceiling. Drop the left hand back, right hand forward, drop the left heel to the floor. Straighten through that right leg, turn the toes, left toes to face the back of the mat, bend into that left knee. Bring the right arm down, around, face the back of the mat, raise the hands to the ceiling. Then send the left hand back, right hand forward, rotate to the left. Then scoop that left arm down, around, back to meet the right, send them up to the ceiling. Then drop the right heel, right hand back, left hand forward. And then straighten the left leg, both toes in front of the heels, hands to the hips. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, fold from the hips. Bring yourself to that half fold again. Bring the hands to the floor. Walk the hands to the left foot. Bending the knees if you need to. Twist through the waist. Walk the hands to the right foot. Again, bend those knees if you need to. Contract that right side waist. Come back to centre. Heel toe the feet in towards the middle of the mat. And you'll be facing that left side. Bend into the knees. Bring the seat to the heels. Once you've found a lift of the heels, bring the hands together at the chest. Shoulders over the hips. Bring your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind. Keep the hips square to that long edge as you turn and twist to a short edge, the right side. Come back to centre. Bring your right hand to the left knee, your left hand behind. Turn and twist to the left. I'm obviously not mirror imaging you here, just taking the same way as I'm moving. Come back to centre. Bring the bums to the mat. Have the feet out to that long head, to that short edge. Toes back towards the shins. Roll the shoulders. Relax them down towards the hips. We're going to take a bend into your left knee and let that left foot come into the groin. Take a bend into your right knee. Take your left hand to the outside edge of your right foot and find a balancing point in between the sit bones and the lower spine. Then try and straighten as much as you can through that right leg, holding onto the outside of the right foot with the left hand. Doesn't matter if that knee's still a little bent, but try and push that heel as far away as you can. With your right hand, reach forward, then up to the ceiling, then turn and twist through the waist, sending the right hand back towards the back of the mat. So we've got a straight right leg, a bent left knee turn out. So the external turn out of that left hip, rotation through the waist, working that digestive system. Bring that right hand back up and over. Take a bend back into that right knee and thread the left foot from underneath. Straighten the left leg out and then bring the heel of that right foot into the groin. Take a bend back into that left knee. Take a hold of the outside edge of the left foot with the right hand. Find a balancing point. Then straighten out through that left leg, still holding the left foot with the right hand. Just straightening it as much as you can. Then reach forward with the left hand. Send it up to the ceiling. Turn, twist from the waist. Sending the left arm back. Left leg is nice and straight, or as straight as you can take it, holding on to that left foot with the right hand, twisting through the waist, right knee bent, turn out, external rotation of that right hip. Bring that left hand up and over, take a bend into that left knee, bring the right foot to meet the left so both knees are bent. Take a hold of the creases of the knees, bring your weight in between the sit bones and the lower spine. Lift up one leg, lift up the other. Choice to stay here and just work on the hip flexors, or if you're coming with the rotation with me, cross the hands across the chest. Squeeze the left rib cage towards the right hip, turn through the waist. Back to centre, right rib towards the left hip and twist. Back to centre, one more both sides. Back to centre, one more to the left. Back to centre, release the feet to the floor, bring the knees, arms around the knees, straighten up through the back, then relax through the neck, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Easy breaths here. And then straighten both legs out. Heels away, toes back. Make sure you're in the centre of the mat so you can come to the floor. Arms out in front of you. Slowly curl down through that spine, one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself all the way down to the floor. Shoulders meeting the mat. When the heads come to the mat, bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Take a bend into both knees. And then bring your arms to cactus arms or T-shape, whichever works best for you. Let your knees come over to your left side, shoulders stay grounded. Ribs facing up, chest facing up, but the waist is twisted to turn the hips to the left. Maybe straighten that top right leg out, pushing the heel away, toes back to the shins, feeling that stretch down the outside of the thigh. Keeping that rotation coming. That right shoulder plugged into the floor. Then take a bend back into your right knee. Bring both knees back into the centre. Let the knees drop out externally for a breath. Butterfly legs. Before we take that rotation to the other side. So bring the knees back in towards each other, heels together, knees together. Let the knees go over to your right side, the gaze to your left side. And once those knees have found a position, maybe you straighten out that left leg across the floor towards that right side of the room. Left shoulder grounded. Maybe gazing towards that left elbow to get that full ringing of the spine. Bring those heels and knees back together. Bring the knees back into the centre. And then just let the knees fall over to the left and roll onto your left side. Both hands stacked, elbows stacked, shoulders stacked. Knees at 90-degree angles from the hips. And we're going to take a little thoracic extension but rotation still from the waist. Knees and feet stay together on that left side of the mat. As you breathe in, raise that right hand up to the ceiling and then turn and twist the chest, starting to send that chest facing up and the right hand to the floor on the right side of the mat. If it doesn't reach, it may be slightly elevated, but try and keep those knees in line as much as you can. And then bringing that right hand back up and over, bring it back to meet the left. Do 2 more of those. Raise the right hand up to the ceiling, then back to the right side of the mat. Lift that hand back up to the ceiling and back to meet the left. One more time. Try and keep everything stacked with the knees and the ankles. Feeling that rotation and extension of the thoracic spine. Back up and over with the right hand back to meet the left. And then make your way onto the opposite side. So bringing the knees back into the centre. Bringing your weight onto your right hip, right shoulder. Reaching both arms out, palms to stack, elbows to stack, shoulders to stack, knees at 90-degree angle. On your in-breath, reach up and over with that left hand and try and bring that left arm to the mat, knees stay stacked. Up and over, back to meet the right hand. 2 more of these, lift. Create the space in the chest, left shoulder towards the mat, back to centre, left hand back to meet the right. One more time on this side, lift up and over, back to meet the right. And then bring the knees back into centre, bring yourself back onto your back. Bring the knees into the chest, just give those knees a squeeze. Maybe make a few circles with the knees in one direction and circles the other way. And squeeze those knees in towards you. Release then the feet to the floor, either finding butterfly legs or the knees dropping internally and finding the feet out to the width of the mat. Or letting those legs come long to the ends of the mat, letting the feet drop out to the side, turn the palms up, let those fingers gently relax. Take an easy breath in. Long breath out. Close the eyes. Soften the forehead, the jaw, relax the tongue. Let the lips gently part. Taking a scan of the body from the top of the head, down to the fingers, down to the toes, just having a check-in with how your body feels. Noticing the work that you've done over the last 50 minutes of practice. Just consolidating everything you've done. Let the floor support you. Let the breaths come easy. Your own automatic breath. So your choice to maybe stay here for relaxation a little longer, in which case pause me now. If you're coming out with me, start to wriggle those fingers, those toes, maybe rotating those wrists, rotating those ankles. You may want to take that full body stretch, stretching the arms up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe arching that lower back. Maybe taking a yawn and bring those hands back up and over, the knees into the chest. Maybe have a little rock of those bodies from side to side. And roll over onto your left side or right side. Just take a deep breath in that fetal position. Then making your way up into seated. Keeping the eyes closed, the head softly bowed. Tall through the spine, relax through the shoulders, finding your favoured seated position. And then just finishing off the practice with 10 lion's breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, 8, in, out, last one, in, and out. Reach the hands up and over the head. Bring the palms together at the top. Bring the hands to the chest. Soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours. Namaste.